Have you ever seen these vibrant yellow flowers growing everywhere and wondered what they are and maybe if you can eat them? Well, you can't. This plant is actually toxic, but it does bear some resemblance to another group of common edible plants, some of which may even be growing in your garden. This is Butterweed, Packera glabella, and I'm really excited to tell you all about this one. It is notorious for popping up all over the place in early spring, especially in clear areas and agricultural fields. You saw in that shot before that it's just covered as far as the eye can see. And there are many other yellow-flowered cousins of butterweed. Their group is called the ragworts, but butterweed is known to be the weediest of all of them. Despite the aggressive growth pattern of butterweed, it is a native plant, and it's visited by the andronid bee and several other native moths and insects. So to me, I generally call that an aggressive native plant, but I wouldn't use the term invasive per se, which is usually reserved for non-native plants like privet or honeysuckle, things like that. However, for cattle farmers, this plant can be a really huge nuisance. Butterweed contains toxic alkaloids, and it's known to cause liver damage to cows if too much is ingested over time. Deer and other wild mammals tend to avoid the plant, likely because it's toxic to them. And remember, it's toxic to us as well. It's that combination of the leaves and the yellow flowers that I think could lead people to mistaking it for a member of the brassica family. There are tons of wild edible brassicas out there, and many of them have yellow flowers and those deeply lobed leaves. A plant like field mustard is one that immediately comes to mind for me, and it also has kind of an aggressive growth pattern, so you'll often see them in similar environments. So with that, how would we distinguish them? Well, although they may look a little bit similar from a distance, with just a few details, they can be told apart very easily. First, let's count the number of petals on this butterweed. How many do you see? Well, it looks like there may be around a dozen or so, but technically, that isn't the case. You see, butterweed is a member of the aster family, which means that it has compound flowers. So each of those individual petals is actually its own ray flower, and the ones in the middle are called disc flowers. Compare that to brassica, which does not have compound flowers, and it always has 4 distinct petals. 4. And if I may, I would also like to show you a really cool trick for recognizing brassica plants. If you look really close, their flowers always have 6 stamen. Stamen are the male reproductive part of the flower. 4 of them will be tall and 2 of them will be short. You may need some magnification for looking at this detail, but if you search for it, it's there, I promise you, and it's really, really cool. And one final thing to distinguish them, if you were to cut into field mustard, you would see that it has a mostly solid stem with a little bit of a white pith on the inside, whereas if you cut into butterweed, it has a distinctly hollow stem. If you happen to eat a little bit of butterweed on accident, it's not likely to be a major concern like we would see with things like poison hemlock. However, consuming a large amount of it would probably be an issue, and that's why it's really important to know these details. But if instead you would like to learn about a common spring flower that you can actually eat, then you should check out this video right here where I'm going to tell you all about it. I think you're going to like it, and I hope to see you there.